Morning. How are you? Same old shit. Have a great day. Oh, yeah. That sucks. What'd they get? Oh, yeah, that sucks. You know, oils work really... You should talk to my wife. Instead of using the chemicals, the oils will work really well. She has allergies and stuff. Definitely. It's you know, their health. Benadryl is nasty. Yeah, I bet you'd be surprised what oils could do. So yeah. Kash Patel is a fucking idiot, man. Kash Patel reminds me of I lived in Northville. Northville was one of the richest communities in the area. We weren't one of those people, but we lived amongst those people, and lots of Jews. And it was the beginning of the influx of Indians and Asians into the region, into the area. Now they're everywhere. And I have no issue with that, you know. Had some really good friends that were Indian guys, or you know, there weren't too many Asians. But my buddy Nick Katari, him and I had some really good times together. So it wasn't about, you know, it's never about this specific person type, whatever race. But Kash Patel reminds me of all the Indian males, you know, first generation American Indian males whose parents came here and made a good life and were wealthy. And for some reason, the kids thought that that was their wealth as well. And they never got told no. They were, you know, very similar to the Jews. I mean, I don't know if that just has to do with money or if it's something different. But Kash Patel is just such an absolute piece of shit. But I did want to, I found another video I really want to watch with you guys. And that is
what community stood up to you after?
Myron cooked Israelis about dark reality of their country. Myron Gaines. 387,000 subscribers.
You're 9/11. Differentiation needs to occur.
He's scared of what I'm going to say. He's scared of what I'm going to say. You are terrified of what I'm about to say.
So, like,
you know you fucked up by bringing up 9/11, right?
Do you know what a bomb shelter is? Have
You
you
know
run
what
to
a
a
bomb
bomb
shelter
shelter every 5 minutes? I'm
Every
from Israel.
5 minutes. I love this shit. They run to bomb shelters every 5 minutes. Show me where the bombs actually hit something and did something. Like, oh, you ran to a bomb shelter. At least you have bomb shelters.
You know what's to live under attack.
I like the fact that you mentioned the bomb shelters. Guess what? The kids that you kill every day don't have bomb shelters.
There you
You
go.
are murderers from a genocidal apartheid state. You are crying about having bomb shelters to run to while Palestinian kids get killed every day.
so
Please.
my name is Jacob.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
No, I'm asking, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, so where's like the speakers right here?
What a dumbass. What an arrogant dumbass, just to
Yeah, so
start
what's
off.
your position?
We're talking. We're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Shut
So
up
I
already.
noticed from the side that you
My name is
had a bunch of
Jacob.
comments.
What's your name?
Myron, nice to meet you.
Sorry, one more time.
Myron, nice to meet you.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll just kind of turn it to you because you were objecting to a lot of the things that I was saying, so I'll kind of let you...
No. You were setting him up for a lot of conversation, so I'll let you set me up for conversation. That's a lot of fucking foreplay with your Facebook.
Yeah, so, again, he made a bunch of accusations, he made a bunch of
This is a
claims
new
that weren't true.
Net new conversation.
Okay.
I'm doing the same thing you did to him. I'm going to interrupt you when he starts talking. Stop with the mental fucking
Look at
facial
this
foreplay.
dumbass. Look at this
Enough of that
cowardly
shit.
Jew.
I'm talking to you, Mayor.
Okay,
So
Marin,
give us your position
Now
then.
he's trying
No,
to
no,
call
no.
him
Oh,
the
you want my
wrong
position?
name.
Okay, no. I'm asking you to stop with the facial foreplay. Talk to
Facial
me like
foreplay.
I'm not over there. I'm right here.
Okay.
Set me up for your conversation.
Okay. So you interrupted a bunch of times before. I'm giving you the floor, but it's fine. I'll just go ahead and set it up.
Sure.
It's simple.
Sure.
America, we need to stop giving aid to Israel.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Under what term? Well, like under what terms?
A multitude of different
All of
terms.
them.
Maybe the fact that they're killing innocent kids
Morning.
every day.
Sure.
Maybe the fact that they
Morning,
make us
Matt.
look bad in the international community. We run cover for them at the UN. They're committing war crimes. Their prime ministers are currently wanted by the ICC.
Details, but I agree with you.
Okay, so that is my position, and I gave you a
What's
couple
your-
reasons
what's
why.
your- What's your position on other similar?
The real problem to this is, again, Myron is talking about Israel. And these savages that he's talking to, these aren't Israel, these are Jews. We need to start addressing the elephant in the room with its big giant nose. You know? We need to start addressing what's actually happening here.
Other scenarios happening across the world. Can you voice? No. Again, stop with the.
Bro,
facial
look. I'm gonna make whatever face I want to make. Okay.
Yeah, because you're on camera.
So that's fine. I'm just asking you to go ahead and give me your actual position versus
No.
looking at my
You're
face.
setting up a
Like,
conversation.
Let's talk
So I'm
about.
responding to your conversation.
Okay, now.
Look at this
okay,
dumbass.
interesting.
He
So you don't have a
thinks
position
he
anymore.
thinks he's smart. So he's like, stop facial foreplay and all this other shit.
Interesting. I'm answering a question. That's how a conversation goes. Ask a question. You're not asking a question.
I'm not in
I'm
a
telling
conversation with
here
you,
it
you
is. Israel's
dumbass.
a threat to America.
What's your question?
Prove me wrong.
What's your question?
Israel's a threat to America. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Is there a threat in America for extremist Muslims? After 9/11, what was the
9/11.
community who stood up for the extremist Muslims in America?
What a dumbass. You can hear it though, right? That's all that matters.
They're not Jews? Do you feel that? Were you here? Were you here for that?
Okay.
No, Marin. Now I'm gonna interrupt you. Were you here for that? No, stop. I'm
Why
over
would,
here.
I wouldn't even let
Marin,
this guy
sorry,
continue
I'm sorry.
talking.
Okay, so just so I
again,
understand
my name's
this,
Jacob.
I want to make sure I have your position correct.
No.
So your position is?
No.
No.
There's no position.
No.
I asked you a question. Were you here during 9/11?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And what community stood up for you during 9/11?
You know, it's
Not
interesting that
Israel.
you say that on 9/11
Correct. Yeah.
because I don't know if you're aware of this.
I'm not asking you to look at.
Yeah, no.
Curtis, was it? No. You told me your name before. It was pretty close.
Hey, bro, he's been very respectful. Like, there's no need to, he's been very respectful.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So,
Sorry. Let me stay into your
Yeah, that's fine. So
on this
let's go ahead and talk about
public-
9/11 then. Let's talk about 9/11.
No.
I'd be happy to.
I asked you a question. Can you answer the question?
I'm going to answer it. You
Okay.
mentioned
What
where was I on 9/11 and
No,
what?
so let me get my.
What a
mic little
dumbass.
closer,
Look
I guess
at
I'm
this
not loud enough.
dumbass.
What community stood? No, don't look at your phone. What kind of stupid shit is this?
Bro, we're live on stream, man. So just go ahead.
What community stood up for you? I'm like, this is a personal question.
What community
You
stood
can
up
tell
for
me
you?
Any community, that's okay. What community stood up for you after 9/11?
Patriots stood up for America, not Israel.
No. I said for your community.
American patriots stood up.
American patriots stood
Stood
up
up.
for the Muslims after 9/11.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this.
Wait.
Are you aware of the
sure
fact,
about that?
bro? Can I please speak?
Are you
I
sure
heard your
about that?
position. You need to. You had an opportunity to talk on the mic. Please be quiet.
No, he answered.
You're welcome
He
to come.
answered it.
You're welcome to come on the mic.
But I'm
after.
gonna just throw a cap on my head, right?
Okay.
American patriots stood up for
so let me
Muslims.
talk
God
about
damn,
9/11.
he just won't
So are
shut
you
the
aware of
fuck
the fact
up.
that on
Do you know what the
9/11
word tequila
dude,
is?
you gotta chill. You gotta chill. You
Okay,
gotta chill.
I gotta chill
Right?
on the
Yeah,
public
you gotta chill.
sidewalk.
So I'm addressing your point on 9/11. Let me please say what I have to say.
Okay, the American patriots.
Because you're making the claim.
This guy with
You're
the
making
American
the claim.
flag.
I'd be
on his
like,
arm.
dude, you're a
making the
typical
claim
Jew.
after You're making the claim that Muslims committed 9/11, and I would
No,
actually
no,
agree with you on that.
no.
Muslim extremists did commit 9/11.
And that's where
No, they didn't.
differentiation
So let me go ahead and
needs to
continue.
occur. That's
Okay.
where
No,
differentiation.
they didn't.
No. You did
No,
this
no,
to
no,
the
no,
last
no.
guy. You interrupted
No,
him,
no,
so
no,
now
no,
I'm gonna
no.
do it to you.
I would
No,
cut
you're
this
not.
guy's mic off
Differentiation
immediately.
needs to occur.
He's scared of what I'm gonna say. He's scared of what I'm gonna say. You are scared of what I'm about to say. You are terrified of what I'm about to say.
Are you scared to hear
You
what
are
I have to
terrified of
say?
what I'm about to say.
So, like,
You know you fucked up by bringing up 9/11, right?
Sure.
You know you fucked up by bringing that up. Because I'm literally gonna embarrass you in front of thousands of people.
The dancing.
I'm going.
Oh, yes, he knows. He knows. He knows. He knows. So I'm going to need you to be quiet for about 60 seconds.
Sure.
On 9/11, there were 5 Israeli squads
Flew
in New
the
Jersey.
fucking plane into a building.
Okay,
What kind
buddy,
of stupid
buddy,
fucking
you gotta be
comment is-
quiet. You gotta be quiet now. Okay? You gotta be quiet. I'm gonna respond to you now. And you know you fucked up. That's why you're trying to fucking obfuscate. It's very simple. On 9/11.
This is what I deal with.
This isn't for you. This is for everybody else here that's listening. Let me tell you guys the truth about 9/11. Okay? Yo, you gotta back off. You gotta back off. You gotta back up, buddy. You gotta back up. You gotta back up. All right? You gotta back up. You gotta back up.
Oh, God damn.
Look at these violent psychos.
Trump's on the Epstein files. Okay, since he couldn't, so let me go ahead and let me educate the rest of you guys here. Let me go through this, okay?
You've been in Gaza? You've been in Gaza
Oh
before?
my God! Here
You know
they
what
go.
you're
They
talking
just
about?
won't shut up.
You've been in Gaza? Oh, you're so... Oh, look at you. Laughing.
This is fucking gold.
Oh,
This
you're
is gold.
laughing.
Yo, this is real life Jewish
Oh,
censorship.
you
This is
laughing.
real life fucking Jewish censorship. This is awesome.
Doing
I
stuff.
love it.
This is the difference between... Wait, you love it because you don't know nothing?
No, because this is what you guys do.
No.
All right. Yo, you had the opportunity to get on the mic.
I know about one.
Let me give my position and you guys can. All right, so anyway, this is fantastic. So
Look
this is what
at
happened
look at
on
how
9/11, guys.
psychopathic these Jews
You know
are.
what to do.
She's still, bro, this is crazy. So anyway, let me finish my point, ladies. So this is what happened.
Tell her to move.
Yo, get a fucking panda to crowd of shit, bro. Like,
So-
this is wild.
So, I want
So
to...
on 9/11,
No, I want to ask you something. Do you know
No,
what a bomb
no,
shelter
me,
is?
me.
Have you run to a bomb shelter every 5
I'm a
fucking
Jewish
minutes?
princess.
I'm from Israel. I know what's to live
I'm from Israel.
under attack. Under a bomb shelter every 5
You're from
minutes. You're
Israel, so you're a
smiling here,
fucking liar.
sitting like a king, like you think.
Like a king.
okay. Let me address that.
And you
So,
guys wonder
mentioned
why
bomb
I don't let
shelters.
people
So,
on my fucking
they mentioned
feed.
the bomb
You see,
shelters.
this is what they do.
So, I like the fact that you mentioned the bomb shelters. Guess what?
This is how they
Kids that you
operate.
kill every day don't have bomb
If I let these Jews on my feed, it would go nowhere because all they would do is this kind of bullshit. They would obfuscate. They would just try their damnedest to stop any sort of thing being said. And you can see it in the comments day after day with just the nonsense that rolls through and talks about whatever they want to talk about and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's crazy. It's true, in Israel, you can see missile in the air. Sure you can. Like the stupidity of it all. You know? If Hamas was really shooting missiles into Israel, there would be an investigation, there would be evidence, there would be proof. The fact is, Israel shoots rockets into Israeli airspace into agreed upon coordinates so they can shoot them down. And Iran, the Iran attack shows you that the Iron Dome is a myth. Because when it's not a missile shot by Israel into an agreed upon sector, then they can't shoot it down. Although, you know, the whole Iran shit, like it's definitely confusing. Definitely don't make no sense. Well, let's see what else.
So I don't want to hear anything from you motherfuckers.
Don't.
The kids that you guys kill every day, the children you guys kill every day, don't have bomb shelters. You have bomb shelters.
Let's test the
Innocent
dome more.
children
Fuck
are
yeah.
murderers.
Let's bombard it.
They're murderers.
Where are the 150,000 rockets pointed at Israel at all time? Where are those? How come nobody's attacking Israel? How come all of those, quote, Muslim countries around Israel that supposedly want to wipe Israel off the map and all this other shit, which they should, how come they don't band together and attack Israel? Right? I don't think nukes are real, so yeah,
You
might
are
as well.
murderers from a genocidal apartheid state. You are crying about having bomb shelters to run to, while Palestinian kids get killed every day. Hundreds of kids every day. You are low IQ. So, at least you have a bomb shelter. At least you have a bomb shelter.
But it's just not true. Stop
Shelter.
pushing the narrative that it's
The
even
reason
true.
why you have a bomb shelter is because you bomb everyone all across the Middle East. You have the bomb shelters because there's retaliation for your war crimes. You guys killed 300,000 Palestinians are dead. 300,000. 300,000 are
And that
dead
dumb
or
broad
missing.
just keeps running in my mouth.
Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. 300,000 are dead or missing. Look at this guy coming in. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and explain 9/11 for you guys because then once I start talking about, they don't want you guys to know this. What I'm about to say, they don't want you guys to know this. We are witnessing real-time censorship. We are experiencing real-time Zionist censorship.
It's not Zionist.
One
Stop
guy in the
saying
back,
Zionist.
2 girls didn't want to say shit. Once 9/11 came on, now they're fucking going crazy. This is awesome. This is fucking awesome. This is the truth that they've been suppressing from you guys for fucking decades. Look at this.
God, I wish I could do this.
Make some space. I need this open now. Open up the middle.
Wait, Bay, shut it down. Anyway, so you guys want to hear about 9/11? Guys, go ahead. Y'all want to hear? We need to get louder. Y'all want to hear about 9/11? The truth? There's a reason they kept coming on the mic trying to stop me from saying it. There's a reason why.
It's act.io. That's
If you
why.
guys want to hear about what the fuck really went down on 9/11, give me a fuck yeah. All right, let's fucking go. There's a reason why they've been jumping on the fucking mic whenever I talk about this topic. Here's the reality about 9/11. I do not dispute the fact that Muslim extremists committed 9/11.
You should.
But they won't.
Why would he push that when there's literally no proof of it? See, this is why these guys are allowed to exist. Right? This is why this guy is allowed to have 375,000 subscribers and I'm not allowed to have whatever. We're going to find what you're watching. Myron cooked Israelis about dark reality of their country. Myron Gaines X. What will Israel gain from 9/11? Gee, nothing. Nothing. They didn't gain anything from 9/11, you fucking moron.
Tell you is that Israelis let it happen. This is the part of history that they don't want you guys to know. On September 11, 2001, 5 Israelis drove up to the top of an apartment complex in New Jersey. They were there taking pictures, celebrating, and flicking lighters as we were going through the worst terrorist attack in American history. When the towers hit, look, she's running to the microphone to stop me from telling you guys this. Okay?
I'm
So
sorry to
anyway,
cut you off. I'm sorry to cut you
no,
off.
bro, what?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, bro. Anyway.
I'm just
So
here
anyway,
so I
back to
don't
what I was
get
saying.
fined. Marshawn Lynch said that,
So
so
on
I say
September
that now.
11th, 5 Israelis were on the top of an apartment building complex in New Jersey overlooking...
Oh yeah, it's bad production values. Yup. Because I can control my signal strength on my phone. And it's because of that's what it is. Yup. Look how stupid you are. Also implanting nukes as a possibility. That's mind control, especially as a child. Right. Right. This idea that there are these super weapons that'll kill everybody. The way... So, let's just pause for a second. So, you have something called the Samson option. And the Samson option is I wouldn't say it's a law, but it's on the books, right? It's something that's just well known. And it states that if Israel is ever invaded and or destroyed, much of it destroyed, it's really important that you understand that they put that distinction in there. Invaded and or destroyed. So before they get destroyed, if they all they have to do is literally say, oh, well, this country is invading us. They're going to launch their nukes in every direction and kill everyone. That's an open threat that they've given. They're also the only country that we don't know, on record, there's no record of their nuclear capabilities. It's just sort of like, can they, do they, don't they? We don't know. They're the only ones that are allowed to tell the inspectors to fuck off. But they've definitely used it multiple times. 1967 they used it to against Nixon. think it was 67, to get Nixon to resupply them, threatening to launch their nukes. Like, they've done this several times. But the truth is, if you believe in the Samson option, then it works. It's just like the Iron Dome. If you believe that Israel has this magical Iron Dome and none of your munitions will get through, any reasonably intelligent person is going to say, well, why waste the munitions? Why shoot them into Israeli airspace if Israelis are just going to shoot it down? That's a waste of resources. It's a waste of money. So believing in the Iron Dome is the Iron Dome. Believing in Samson option is the Samson option. If you believe that they'll launch their nukes in every direction if we actually do something, then you're less likely to actually do something. And this is how they operate. They operate in this theater of fear, right? Where you believe what they want you to believe. Oh, here we go, schizo rambling. Look at how Justin just all of a sudden it starts with the schizo rambling. Schizo. This is one of their act.il provided talking points. This is what they do when you start saying stuff. I mean, it's you're literally seeing it on my feed and then seeing it in this real time as well. Where this is what they do. They just start, I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm not going to talk about this. You're just a schizo. You're a schizo. Like, schizo is their thing. It's weird, too, because it just shows how stupid they are. They don't even know what schizophrenic really means. They just use it. You need to take your meds. You're schizophrenic. You're delusional. And the craziest thing is, if you look at the auto-emancipation pamphlet that is supposedly the kickoff point for Zionism, the same tactics are used, that it's some sort of mental illness, mental deficiency. If you don't accept that the Jews are superior to you, they were born as God's chosen people, they're better than you, and they get all the supremacy they need, then you have a mental illness. If you don't believe that, there's something wrong with you. And literally, that's all they have. And it's a very good weapon. Because as Dave Chappelle said, the worst thing to do is to call somebody crazy, because crazy is dismissive. Right? As soon as you accept that something is crazy, then you go, oh, well, I'm not going to pay attention anymore because it's just crazy. And so their whole goal, their whole premise, everything that their argument is based on is that you're crazy. Because they don't have any other arguments. You see what happens when they set themselves up and bring up 9/11, knowing the guy's going to bring up the dancing Israelis and shit like that. And they're just doing what about the bomb shelters? The bombs, and they're killing us, and the bombs, and the bomb she's from Israel, meaning she's here. How many Palestinians can be like, I'm from Palestine, and I'm here now in the United States? The visa waiver program that Israel was forced into 8 days before October 7th. The October 7th false flag where no Israelis died and no Israelis were taken hostage. The Balfour Declaration is nothing. The Balfour Declaration is the Rothschild Declaration. It just has the Balfour name on it, so you don't truly make the connections. But the idea that Israel and that the Zionists all started with the Balfour Declaration in 1919 or 1917, 16, 17, something like that, is bullshit. It's just not true. The first Zionist conference held in 1884 or 94, 1894, was just some more bullshit. 1882 is when the auto-emancipation pamphlet was first distributed somehow. Oh, look at somebody's, call the cops. Call the cops, see? Everything they can do. They want the cops to come in and do their dirty work because they can't. They're basically admitting that they're too stupid to be able to have this conversation to begin with. So now they're hoping the cops come in and try to do something. They're trying everything they can to obfuscate, influence, try to make it seem like what I'm saying isn't true. No, it didn't start there, but it dragged us into the war. Sorta, I guess. Not really. I mean, when it comes to the history from 1919 or any of that, you don't know. You know a version of a narrative that's given to you, but you don't even know all the pieces of it because you can't. Depends on what source you look at. You're going to find more and more information. How many of you know about the Uganda scheme proposal? Late 1800s, early 1900s, when they were talking about making a large portion of land in Uganda the Israel homeland, or the Jewish homeland, until they could take over Palestine. I mean, it's not like it's a secret. It's just kept from you. Bro, I don't want you to get hurt. Cops are good people. You call the cops. Do it. You do it. See what happens. You guys already did it last week. Didn't work out for you. Do it again. See what happens. There's too many complex pieces. It just goes deeper and deeper. Yeah, well, and when they control the information, it doesn't matter. The only way we can ever get to the bottom of any of these things, whether it's vaccines, whether it's weather modification, whether it's AIDS, whether it's the genocide, whether it's the voting, whether it's Trump, Epstein, it's all connected. The only way we get to it, or we get the answer, Charlie, you want the answers about Charlie, your lover boy Charlie. The only way we actually get those answers is if we Goyim unite and overthrow the friar control scheme that controls everything, that's committing the genocide, that controls the information we have. So that's this. We could sit here and argue about shit that happened, 100 years ago all day. We don't know. We only know the narrative that we've been given. And there are contrary narratives out there. They're just much harder to find because they control it. They control Google. They control Wikipedia. You'll find a link to the YouTube video where Naftali Bennett brags about that shit in the description after the fact. It's just a joke. These Matitza Bape pedos need to go. You've seen it over the last couple of videos. As soon as I start reading about the Israel Hayom article, Israel Hayom, Hayom, is the website, is the Israeli, through and through, they're petrified of Gentiles coming together. Exactly. That's why they have us fighting about every stupid thing like skin color, sexual preference, sexual identity, any of it. Instead of us being focused on, well, let's all that hatred we have for all these other people, let's just focus that on the pedophiles, no matter what color they are, no matter what their background is. And so when I start reading the Israel Hayom article, and I'm talking about Israel Hayom, or I'm talking about the bottom of darkness, which the article will be linked in the description as well, you can see the responses just like double. They just start firing shit off. No, you're stupid. You're dumb. You don't know what about all this shit. I'm reading their report. There's no Gentiles even remotely associated with Israel Hayom. And this article, like very, very detailed article, is what I believe to be the most important article available, written. Like, it's really fucking shocking to read it. We have a drone over your property. Yeah, okay, whatever. Isn't it funny how they all pretend then? If they're not Israeli, isn't it funny how they pretend to be and say stupid shit? Look at how it, instead of, you'll never see a Jew come on here and be like, yeah, that Israel Hayom article is disgusting. That really makes us look bad as people, and we need to do something to protect all the children. And like, I'm sitting here trying to defend and protect Israeli children, right? It's the Israeli children that this article is affecting. So I really shouldn't care. But I do. I just, the idea of any child being raped and tortured and abused like the article talks about is just unacceptable. But like I say, you'll never see any of these fucking Jews. You'll never see any of these Jews condemn it. You'll never see any of these Jews stand up to it. All they do is cry and cry and cry every time shit like this is brought up. Just like they're doing here with this guy trying to tell the truth about 9/11. Well, a partial truth about 9/11.
So on September 11th, 5 Israelis were on the top of an apartment building complex in New Jersey overlooking the Manhattan skyline. The planes hit. They were there roughly 20 to 30 minutes before the planes were hit. A woman that was very astute saw these 5 individuals dancing and celebrating as the towers were on fire. She called the police and gave a bolo on what the van looked like that they were in. It was an Urban Moving Systems van. So they went ahead and called, and the cops put a bullet, be on the lookout for this van. So they went ahead and pulled this van over, the local cops, and they identified 5 individuals. As he was pulling them over, one of the guys came out and said, "We're not Palestinians. We're Israelis. We're your friends." And then on top of that, you need to be quiet in the back, bro. So anyway, we're not Palestinians, we're Israelis. So the cops, suspicious, called the FBI. The FBI comes on the scene, takes them to detention.
14 people? You'd only be censored if you had like 600 people. That would be censorship. If you have 14 people and 4 likes, that's not censorship.
Interviews them. 2 of the individuals in that group had ties back to Israeli intelligence, Mossad, Unit 8200, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, as they were interviewing these individuals, they failed the polygraph test, and 2 of them came back with record checks. So they went ahead and said, okay, these guys work for this moving company. The FBI executed a search warrant at the headquarters for Urban Moving Systems. What they found shocked them. They found a bunch of hard drives, computers, that isn't really indicative of a moving company. Kind of strange, isn't it? And then they found out that the person that owned that moving system company was a guy named Dominic Suter. The FBI contacted him, asking to question him. He ran to Israel the next day. What they found was he was backed and paid for by Israeli intelligence. Those people had foreknowledge of the attack, and they spent roughly 70 days in immigration confinement. They were deported from the United States under Mike Chertoff, whose mother used to serve for the Mossad, and he's a hardcore Zionist. So let me get this straight. 5 Israelis were caught with pre-knowledge of the worst terrorist attack in American history. They got put in immigration custody for 70 days and then deported back to Israel. If they were
Where they
Muslims
went on
or Arabs,
TV
you guys think they would have been deported?
and bragged
They'd be
about
in
it.
fucking Guantanamo Bay right now to this day. So the reality is these individuals deported, but it gets better. Not only were they deported, they went on a talk show in Israel. This goes to show the hubris of the Israelis. They asked them, why were you out there that day? They said, we were there to document an event so that everyone can see how Israelis feel. Remember that stupid woman that was talking about the bomb shelter? She wants all of you to fucking feel that too. The Palestinians don't even have the ability to have a
Where
bomb
is
shelter.
the footage?
They die. Privilege.
The fact is, it's well known that they were there before the impacts. They were set up and filming before the impacts. So where is their footage? That would probably be some pretty, impressive footage, especially since we barely have any footage of the first attack.
Is invisible to those that haven't. Quite frankly, the Israelis don't deserve
And again, look at how the defense comes on here and is talk about submarines. Change the subject, change the subject, change the subject, change the subject. Well, it's the title of your thing. It's the title. I come here every day and I see that the title of the show is Submarines Aren't Real, and then it says part, and then it has a whole different thing. Today it says Sunday Morning Masshole. I don't see you guys asking anything about that. But it's always trying to change the subject, trying to, distract, trying to do everything they can to prevent these conversations from happening.
Tax dollars. Now, with that said, let me ask
And
you
look
this.
at this guy keeps stroking himself. Oh, you're freaking out. I've got you freaking out. Yep. Because I'm the one that's crying and can't seem to stay focused and can't stay on topic. And, yep, I'm the one crying here. Look at me crying. Look at me freaking out. They have to tell themselves that they're doing something, because the reality of how badly they're making themselves look, it would continue to, it would fuck with them. It would make them feel bad. So they have to, well, I'm affecting you. You're affecting me, so I'm affecting you, right? What you're saying is upsetting me, so I'm upsetting you back. So yeah.
Our greatest ally was there at our worst day and had foreknowledge about it and allowed it to happen. This has all been declassified in FBI reports. And they were deported after the fact and admitted on Israeli television they had foreknowledge. It gets even better. Who bought the World Trade Center? A guy named Larry fucking Silverstein.
Piece of
About
shit
a month
he
and
is.
a half before the towers were hit, he took out a very strange and unorthodox insurance policy that covered terrorism. Then, what ended up happening was after 9/11, he was able to get the biggest insurance fucking buyout ever. This guy, Larry Silverstein, close friends with who? Benjamin Netanyahu, the current prime minister of Israel.
Larry Silverstein, who wasn't in the towers that day.
Now, here's the thing I also want to ask you guys. There was a memo released back in 1996 called the Clean Break Memo. In that memorandum, and this is all declassified, you can look at it. There's a reason why they're clapping. They don't want you guys to hear this. Look, yep, they started again. They don't want you guys to hear this. So anyway.
It's so weird to see other people.
Again? What was that, guys? I was on the Netanyahu, best friends with Larry Silverstein. Gets the biggest buyout ever. Man, there's just so much crap I'm trying to remember because it's wild that no one knows this stuff, man. So he takes out this insurance policy. The towers are hit. He gets the biggest fuck buyout. I don't want you guys to hear this.
Wait, what's
So
the memorandum?
look at it. There's a reason why they're clapping.
Huh?
There was a memo released back in 1996 called the Clean Break Memo.
Clean Break Memo.
In that memorandum, and this was.
Let's look that up too. Uh-huh. Second. Clean Break. I've never heard of this one. Memo and the urban moving systems. We'll look those things up in a minute. I just want to hear what the rest of what he has to say is.
My phone, right?
Nope.
There was a memo released back in 1996 called the Clean Break Memo. In that memorandum, and this is all declassified, you can look at it. You guys to hear this buyout ever. Man, there's just so much crap I'm trying to remember because it's wild that no one knows this stuff, man. So
And it's so
he
obvious.
takes out this insurance policy. The towers are hit. He gets the biggest fucking payout ever. And it's also interesting because Building 7 just goes down randomly. What the fuck? Everyone, I interviewed Richard Gage and multiple other engineers. They all conclude that it was controlled demolition. Now, are you guys really ready for the crazy part that no one ever talks about? I need to hear a fuck yeah if you guys want to hear the part that no one talks about that's really gonna fucking piss them off. All right, it gets better. There was a ring of Israelis that were caught in a
The NTSB's
fraud
report.
investigation by
The NTSB report is hilarious. They don't even mention shit. It's as clear. The guy who was in charge of it came out after the fact and was like, yeah, we were hindered on all sides, and we just basically wrote down what we were told to write down.
FBI out in Tennessee. These individuals were arrested for having fake documents. And before they went to trial, a DMV employee that was giving them the fake documents was mysteriously killed in a fiery car crash. They went ahead and identified these individuals, and a few of them had been at the World Trade Center prior to the bombing. And they had no permits to be there by the Port Authority, the ones that are responsible for allowing people to do work in there. They were there to do sprinkler fixes. So let me figure this out. A building that had a bunch of asbestos that was no longer rentable, these guys are over there doing sprinkler maintenance? No, they were there to put fucking bombs.
The towers are the distraction. the towers are the things that were to distract us from the Pentagon. The Pentagon was the real big story of 9/11 that just gets completely overlooked by a lot of people who are trying their best and who really mean well, or who happen to be fucking agents for all we know. That's why they're allowed to have the feed they have. But the Pentagon was the main the main target. $2.3 trillion was missing. And the people in charge of investigating, the whole operation in charge of investigating that $2.3 trillion that Rumsfeld mentioned the night before, just happened to be the one location in the Pentagon that was hit by the airplane that fit into the hole that no airplane could fit into. I mean, it's all just bullshit. It really is all just bullshit. Look at these crybabies. Look at how upset they are right now about everything I'm saying. Instead of, being real decent Americans and being like, yeah, we need to figure this out. Being real decent humans and being like, yeah, we need to figure this out. I'm the bad guy for talking about it. Yep.
Sprinkler maintenance? No, they were there to put fucking bombs and do a controlled demolition. Every engineer, 1,000 plus, have come together and said, yo, this is a controlled demolition. This would not happen from a plane hitting. So again, we got a billionaire tycoon that bought the World Trade Center, takes out an unorthodox terrorism insurance policy a month and a half before the towers are hit. We have 5 Israelis that are tied to intelligence, dancing and celebrating the attack, and then they admit that they had foreknowledge. Then on top of that, we got another ring of Israelis that were caught in the Midwest somewhere in a fake document benefit fraud case that were in the towers months before it was hit doing sprinkler maintenance. I think anyone with a little bit of common sense would question the fact that our greatest ally might not be our greatest ally, and there's some links here that are very problematic. Because I'll tell you guys this, if any Arab country was in this situation, the way Israel is with 9/11, we would bomb them to fucking hell.
Yep.
And this is just one of the ways that our greatest allies deceived us.
Nobody had
And
any
that is what they've been trying to
foreknowledge.
keep you guys from hearing.
Okay.
So the bottom
They
line
admitted
is this,
it.
for those of you that are just getting here.
They
Israeli intelligence had
the 5 dancing Israelis were there to document the event. That's what they said. How did they know it was going to happen if there was no foreknowledge? What about all the trading that went down? What about all the put options that were put on American Airlines and other things? Put options are something that you put on a stock because you know it's going to crash and you can make a bunch of money off of it. And there were several government employees that made a killing off of it, and that's just never investigated or anything. Interesting, as always.
foreknowledge of the 9/11 attacks and did nothing to stop it. And on top of that, they allowed it to happen and celebrated when it happened. And when questioned about it, they admitted they knew it was going to happen. And the person that ran the intelligence operation ran back to Israel, a guy named Dominic Suter. All of these documents are declassified, and you guys can look them up. Larry Silverstein. Oh, clean break memo. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
So the clean break memo, guys, written back in 1996 for Netanyahu. In this paper, they describe all the countries in the Middle East that they want to destabilize.
Oh, right.
Guess which
Yeah, I know
country
this
is
one.
left? Every other country's been destroyed by Israel. The
Iran.
last one left is Iran.
Iran.
So this has been in the mix since 1996, guys, and it gets better. The people that wrote that paper, the clean break memo, were Jewish neocons. Richard Pearl, Douglas
CIA
Feig,
document
and
talks
many
about it
others
before it happened.
wrote
Lots
this
of shit.
paper. That was the paper that got us involved in the Iraq War. Saddam Hussein had absolutely nothing to
A lot more engineers said it wasn't pre-planned. Somebody just said that. A lot more engineers said it wasn't pre-planned. Where? What are you even talking about? Nobody's even saying they're saying it was a controlled demolition. Where are all the engineers that support the official narrative of what happened? I would love to see the 1,500 engineers that are like, nope, that's the pancake theory. Even though the pancake theory demonstration that the computer showed us, that they showed on TV, on PBS, when they did their first, this is the first time it's all going to be addressed, it's going to be exposed, yada, yada, yada. It literally showed the pancake theory with the floors coming down, but the center column is still there. That's what the computer diagram showed, because the center column is just impossible. And it's just common sense, really. The top of that small section of the building in comparison, 15% of the building can't bust through the rest of the building. It just doesn't work that way. That's not physics. And it literally can't be shown anywhere else. You can't prove it in any other way.
That's not a great thing, though, right? Nothing to do with 9/11, but we attacked Iraq under the premise of weapons of mass destruction. Sounds familiar?
That Bibi
it's
gave
the
us.
same exact bullshit excuse we used to bomb Iran, that they have nuclear weapons. We're seeing history repeat itself, and I'm here to stop it.
Says she read,
So if anybody has a
read it for
disagreement with
5
everything that I
hours
said,
while I
which
was
is
sleeping.
100%
She showed me
factual,
all
you
the
can
key
look it up.
points CIA
There's
kept
a reason
talking
why they've been
about
screaming the
and
whole time as
referring
I've
to
been
the
telling you
plan and
guys this.
stuff.
This is
I
what's been
was so
suppressed off
shocked
the
that she
internet
doesn't
for
believe in
decades.
conspiracy theories.
God bless America.
How does
God bless
everybody believes in conspiracy theories? You just don't understand what conspiracy theory means. A conspiracy is 2 or more people working together to affect the outcome of a situation, to influence the outcome of a situation. Influence, outcome. Interesting. Everything you hear and see, everything that you experience outside of your own personal existence, to some degree, I mean, even the stuff you experience, is a conspiracy theory. You just choose to believe which things you choose to believe.
the First Amendment, so you guys can hear this. Thank you, brother. Thank you. This is what's been suppressed off the internet for decades. God bless America and God bless the First Amendment, so you guys can hear this.
God bless us.
Thank you. America first? No, fuck that. America only. No more aid to Israel, who participates in terrorist attacks and has foreknowledge and allows.
See, the thing is, again, though, you can't just say, like, that's their fight, we let them do it, let's just pull America out. Well, we gave Israel the incredible advantage for 70 plus years. We've funded them, we've supplied them with endless weaponry and all that. It's not a fair fight because of us. So it's our responsibility to clean up the mess we made. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Us to be attacked. Fuck Israel. They're an apartheid ethno-state. They're parasitic in nature and drags us into foreign wars. No more American blood spilled for a foreign nation in the Middle East. There's no fucking reason why Americans should be dying thousands of miles away from their family in a foreign country that they have no business being in
that
the
hates
first
us.
place. The reason why the Middle East hates us is because of our interventionist foreign policy that kills innocent kids. But these Israelis want you guys to keep taking your tax dollars and fund their fucking genocide. That is why they yell as I tell you guys this information. This is why they say, I'm Israel Jai, as I tell you guys the truth. They don't want the fucking truth. Because if Americans knew what I just told you guys, no one would support Israel.
No one would support Israel if they knew about Matitza Bapay.
I'm happy to discuss with anyone. Mic's open.
How you doing?
What's up, brother?
I wanted to add one more thing. Are
Please.
you familiar with Ace Elevator Company?
Go, take it away.
Yeah, so Ace Elevator Company. This was a elevator company that had never had any prior work on elevators ever, and they somehow won the contract.
Hold on, before you go into this.
Yeah.
Groiper, right?
Sorry?
Groiper, right?
I'm not. No.
You're not
but,
Groiper?
No.
Come on, man. All right.
I can hook up. I mean, no. So what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Ace Elevator Company. They replaced the original company that had worked on these elevators at the Twin Towers for decades, or everywhere for decades. They had tons of experience. Ace Elevator Company had zero experience at all. They somehow won this contract for the biggest elevator renovation in human history. So they got this, which means they had access to the main elevator shaft, which is exactly where you would need to have access to if you wanted to hypothetically put some explosives in there. So
And let me ask
that
you
was
this.
in the months leading up to it.
Why would they invest that amount of money in buildings that have a huge asbestos problem that will cost billions of dollars to fix? Interesting, right?
It's very true, yeah. No, there was zero reason, yeah. And apparently there was one of the workers at the building said that before any planes had hit, he saw a coworker running out from under the building on fire.
Right.
So obviously some sort of explosive went off. That's all I wanted to add. I just wanted to add that on there.
No worries. So now that we got that all out there, any of the Israelis that disagree that we're yelling from the side,
You're welcome to give me your position, and I won't interrupt you. I'll actually let you give your position, and you can refute anything that I said. Thank you, bro. Got me a gift? Let's see what the gift is.
I like it.
Hey, it's a good one. Hey, should we cut to Rumble?
Yes. Yes.
Should we cut to Rumble?
Yes.
Wow, none of the Israelis
That's not
stepped
a
up,
great
did
thing,
they?
though, right? They would not have liked this next joke. You guys
Yuck.
hear about the Israeli pedophile that the United States let off? Yeah. I know, you're like, which one? The head of Israeli cyber defense, or as I call it, Iron Chrome, got busted in Vegas for soliciting a minor online. Literally the one thing you can't do in Vegas. In Vegas, you can gamble your life savings, you can drink in public, you can smoke weed with your hooker, you can gun down a famous rapper, you can have a random Asian guy dangling from your car window. You've seen The Hangover, but you can steal a tiger from Mike Tyson, etc., etc. But just stay away from the kids. Okay, you can literally bet on any number as long as it's higher than 18, is what I'm saying. It's like inverse blackjack. The police engaged in a sting operation and no music was made. That joke would have killed in the 80s. And in this operation, an undercover officer posed as a 15-year-old girl. Which, let's face it, kind of a sweet gig. Okay. And good for a cop, too, right? Same level of emotional intelligence. Yeah, totally. In the sting operation, 8 men were busted, including a pastor. Shocking. And an
Meeting a
Israeli
14-year-old
official
boy.
named Tom Alexandrovich, aka Peeping Tom, who is the head of cybersecurity for Israel. Yeah. So clearly we found a security flaw. Iran, take notes. You want to get in? Just pose as a 15-year-old girl.
She was a mentally
The
challenged
irony,
girl, too.
is that Alexandrovich was in Vegas for a conference about hacking. And ironically, he got hacked. So clearly, not very good at his job.
Wasn't
He
there
needs to go
another
back to
maintenance
school,
like
but,
a
actually,
month?
no.
We just talked about it.
No. He's a high-ranking officer. He had meetings later that week with the NSA, probably to spy on us more. And then he got spied on by the highest level possible, Vegas PD. He even had meetings scheduled later that week with the FBI, but he met him earlier, apparently. So they caught him, they confronted him, and he was like, oh, I didn't know her age. And it said 15 on her profile. He's like, yeah, I can't read numbers. I'm like, why are you in Vegas, buddy? You know? The profile clearly said 15, and he claims he thought it was 18. It's very unlike an Israeli to inflate the numbers. Usually they play them down. But is that not ironic? The head of Israeli cyber defense turns out to be a cyber predator? Actually not shocking at all. When you're familiar with how Israelis do self-defense, kind of predatoриal, you know what I mean? In fact, we're
What about the burned passports they found at that? No, it wasn't even burned. It had flown out the window and was basically untouched. You know, it wasn't all burnt up, supposedly. I mean, you know, the fact is, I think when it was all said and done, there was one person that claimed they saw and heard an airplane hitting the tower. That was an eyewitness. And it's, again, one of these things that doesn't get talked about enough is the live feed that we all saw that the 3 maid stations had. All 3 of them showed the nose of the plane going through the building, untouched. Then the screen went black for a couple seconds, or for a split second, which ends up being like 15 frames. And then the explosion happens. So clearly they mapped it wrong, right? They're supposed to superimpose the plane going into the building, and then, it was supposed to, but they didn't map it quite right, and it went through, untouched. The aluminum nose wasn't dented at all. I mean, it's just fucking insane how stupid they have people. And that people still... Urban moving systems. Let's hear what Wiki has to say about this. September 11th attacks, advanced knowledge, conspiracy theories. Various conspiracy theories allege that certain institutions or individuals had foreknowledge of the September 11th attacks in the United States in 2001. Some of the primary debates include whether the Bush administration or the United States Armed Forces had awareness of the planned attack methods, the precise volume of intelligence that American agencies had regarding al-Qaeda activities inside the United States, whether the put options placed on United Airlines and American Airlines and other trades indicate foreknowledge, and why the identities of the traders have never been made public. Seems pretty interesting to me. Look, we have a pedophile. We have a pedophile Trump supporter here, using the KKK slogan, "Make America Great Again." When was America great? I'd still like to know this. America right now is the best it's ever been. Because, well, maybe not right now, maybe like a few years ago. But with all the freedoms that we have, with the standards of equality that are everywhere. Oh, echo chamber. That must be one of their provided talking points. Echo chamber. This is an echo chamber. Oh, look. A joined 4 years ago and has 3 subscribers. You guys believe that's a real profile, don't you? Additional facets of theories include debate as to whether warnings received from foreign agencies were specific enough to have warranted preventative action, whether domestic intelligence about the planned al-Qaeda attack was thorough enough to have mandated intervention, the extent to which the alleged hijackers were under surveillance prior to the attacks, and whether Israeli Mossad or the Pakistani inter-service intelligence were aware of an imminent attack. That's pretty fucking silly. Foreign government knowledge. It has been suggested that some foreign governments and intelligence agencies may have had foreknowledge of the attacks. Sybil Edmonds, an FBI translator, was told by another translator that the FBI received information in April 2001 from a reliable Iranian intelligence asset that Osama bin Laden was planning attacks on 4 or 5 cities with planes, and that some of the plotters were already in the country, and that the attacks would happen in a few months. The translator described the interviewing agent's reaction that the warnings were not specific enough to act upon. She showed me all the key points and documents. I didn't have to read it. This was over a year ago. In 2004, the 9/11 Commission found, quote, no evidence of Iran or Hezbollah was aware of the planning of what later became 9/11 attack. Just before the report was published, the committee received evidence which caused to add to the report that the topic required further investigation. The problem with this too is, I mean, does anybody think Kash Patel is going to tell you the truth about anything? Does anybody think why would you still believe anything the government is telling you? It was reported that Mossad informed the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Central Intelligence Agency in August 2001 that as many as 200 terrorists were slipping into the United States and planning, quote, a major assault in the U.S. The Israeli intelligence agency allegedly cautioned the FBI that it had picked up indications of a large-scale target in the United States and that the Americans would be very vulnerable. In September 2001, the New York Times and Israeli newspaper Haaretz reported that 4 hours after the attack, the FBI arrested Israelis who had been filming the smoking skyline from the roof of a white van in the parking lot of an apartment building for puzzling behavior. They were charged with illegally residing in the United States and working there without permits. The Israelis were said to have pulled into the parking lot after the destruction of the first tower, and videotaped the remainder of the disaster with what was interpreted as cries of joy and mockery. The incident became known as the Dancing Israelis in conspiracy theory circles. Police found the van and searched, revealing $4,700 in cash hidden, along with foreign passports and a box cutter, which aroused suspicions and led to the detonation of the detention of the occupants. The men were held in detention for more than 2 months, during which time they were subjected to interrogation and polygraph tests before being deported back to Israel. Back home, several of the men appeared on an Israeli TV chat show where one of them, Odin Eller, subsequently stated that the fact of the matter is we are coming from a country that experiences terror daily. Our purpose was to document the event. Like, even their bullshit cover stories still have to tell you some of it. The 5 men worked at the company Urban Moving Systems, Inc., owned and operated by Dominic Suter. After the men were arrested, the FBI searched their offices and questioned Suter. However, Suter fled to Israel before he could be questioned further. Eventually, Suter's name appeared on the May 2002 FBI suspect list, along with the September 11th hijackers and other suspected extremists. You mean the hijackers that were found, a lot of them found to be alive after the fact? On March 15, 2002, The Forward claimed that the FBI had concluded that the van's driver, Paul Kurzberg, and his brother Sivan were indeed Mossad operatives who were in America spying on local Arabs. ABC News cited this report on June 21st, 2002, adding that the FBI had found no evidence that the 5 Israelis had foreknowledge of the attacks. I mean, doesn't it kind of scare you to think, like, what you think the FBI is? You know, the ultimate protector, the thing that's keeping Americans safe. That they can't deduce from the guy bragging on TV. They were jovial. They were laughing and shit. They were joking about everything on TV. Saying they were there to document the event means they had foreknowledge? Like, it's just, are you serious? In March 2001, the U.S. Office of National Counterintelligence Executive had issued a warning about people identifying themselves as Israeli art students attempting to bypass security and gain entry into federal buildings, and even to the private residences of senior federal officials. First of all, that was March 2001. Secondly, why would they be allowed to bypass security measures simply by stating they were Israeli art students? Why would that be a thing in the first place? See, you have to look deeper than what the story is telling you. You have to ask those questions that come to mind. And then you're supposed to be like, oh no, that's just conspiracy theory. I'm not going to ask that question. What makes them so special that because they're Israeli art students, they bypass security measures? That don't seem like that makes too much. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. A French intelligence agency later noted, according to the FBI, Arab terrorists and suspected terror cells lived in Phoenix, Arizona, as well as in Miami and Hollywood, Florida, from December 2000 to April 2001, in direct proximity to the Israeli spy cells. The report contended that Mossad agents were spying on Mohammed Atta and Marwan al-Shihi, two leaders of the 9/11 hijack teams, that there's no actual evidence of, that there's no footage of these guys in the airports. There's no footage of these guys anywhere. And of course, 2 of the 4 hijackers accidentally hit the wrong button, turning on the transponders so they could be heard. And they're heard saying, okay, we are doing a hijacking, we are terrorists, you know. 2 of them made the same fucking mistake so they could incriminate themselves. Like, it's just a joke. You know, if it wasn't such a bullshit story, the system would put out a thorough documentary where they address everything that's being said. They find someone like me who can ask all the questions, and they just answer all the questions and make me look stupid. I've said it for years. Just bring me on, make me look stupid. Look at my view count. 6 watchers and 6 likes. Is that how the YouTube algorithm works to you guys, to the best of your knowledge? I always thought that the more likes you get compared to your watchers, that would make you, you get broadcast out more and more. But I'm not censored. Don't worry, I'm not censored. This is just the way it is. In 2002, several officials dismissed reports of a spy ring and said the allegations were made by a Drug Enforcement Administration agent who was angry that his theories had been dismissed. Iranian President Mohammed Ahmadinejad said in a 2010 speech that no Zionists were killed in the attack since, according to him, one day earlier they were told not to go to their workplace. He also remarked, "What was the story of September 11th? During 5 to 6 days, and with the aid of the media, they created and prepared public opinion so that everyone considered an attack on Afghanistan and Iraq. However, contrary to such conspiracy theories about Jews not being warned not to go to work that day, the number of Jews who died in the attacks is variously estimated between 270 and 400, while several Israelis died in the attacks as well." So wait a minute. We don't know. It's between 270 and 400 exactly. Do you guys remember that if you, like, a lot of you are either too stupid or you're young, and of course, you Jews always lie and say, "I'm not Jewish. I'm just some American that supports giving all of our money to Israel and sending our troops to go die for Israeli wars and ignoring all the pedophilia and all that, You're just a regular old American who's just a real big Israel supporter for some reason." Gotcha. Shit, I forgot what I was about to say. People don't like change. Shit, I forgot what I was about to say. Oh yeah, so in the lead up, like right when it was happening, if you remember, the news was telling us there could be as many as 10 to 15,000. I think it was 8 to 10,000. That was 8 to 10,000 people are feared to be dead. 8 to 10,000, 8 to 10,000. That's what it should have been. If all of the Jews who work in the towers were there that day like they were supposed to be, because this is in the middle of New York. This is where, lawyers and all sorts of financial institutions, this is a Jewish hotbed. The fact that only 3,000 some people died is ludicrous. Is ludicrous. But it's because so many were told not to come to work. But then again, how can you say between 270 and 400? That's a huge disparity. It's 26 years later, 25 years, 24 years later. 24 years later. Why don't we know exactly how many Jews were killed on that day? I was a Marine rifleman from 1999. Let me tell you, I have a feeling this was the case. Me and most I served with. What are you talking about? You talking about the fake Charlie Kirk shooting? Because they were trying to push the Patriot Act too. Only way we would allow that to happen is by causing fear. It's what they do. Problem, reaction, solution. Order out of chaos. It's what they do. Right? They create the problem, they make us beg for their intervention, and then they provide us with the solution that they already had planned. They already tried pushing the Patriot Act through, and it got denied because there was no, they couldn't get it through. I watched this great video today from this Valhalla Viking white dude talking about Charlie Kirk and how stupid the narrative is. He got there, he changed his clothes, he got up on the roof, he took the shot, and it took about 6 seconds for him to run from one side of the building to the other immediately after the shot was taken. All in which he changed his clothes back to the other clothes, disassembled his rifle, left his clothes up on the or accidentally left the screwdriver on top of the building. The screwdriver you would need to be able to assemble and disassemble the rifle. Jumped down, ran off. Then he had the rifle in his bag. Put the rifle back together, left it there. Essentially got away, and then admitted to everything in text messages to his boyfriend. And you think and he showed that the idea of a 30-06, that they say that the weapon that they say shot Charlie would leave a small little hole. If that thing would have hit the small tissue of his neck, his entire head would have been blown off. And what about the camera that was directly behind him that we're not getting the footage of? And what about what was under his shirt? "100 friends to those bullshit wars." I'm sorry to hear that, my man. I'm sorry to hear. So we have somebody that's talking about they were in the military, and what do you think? Are we fighting Israeli wars, or is this American interests involved? You don't need to pretend there's a Jewish world government or whatever to hate the actual government. I don't need to pretend anything. But see, look what you're desperately trying to do. I mean, it's not even like, it doesn't even make sense. You have to make up your own narrative. Like, I'm not very good at saying exactly what the fuck I mean to say. It's extremely obvious. Israel created Charlie Kirk. I say this every fucking day. The donor list for Charlie Kirk read like a bar mitzvah registration list. Charlie Kirk was who he was and what we saw of him because they wanted him to be. Just that simple. You guys see the shit that Charlie Kirk said about George Floyd? I don't care that he's dead. He's not a hero. He's a scumbag. He shouldn't be celebrated, is what he said about George Floyd. And you see all these white people crying because Charlie was white and they killed Charlie. That's why you care. You didn't care about Charlie Kirk beforehand. And why does how come nobody's asking, why immediately after Charlie was killed, immediately, just like immediately with 9/11, they were telling us it was Al Qaeda hijackers, it was terrorists, it was what did they say? Not Iranian. Who did they blame it on? It was just Muslim terrorists. Right away, that's what it was Muslim terrorists, Muslim. And then you had the one dude that was interviewed that was like, and then the buildings fell due to structural failure. Blah, 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 blah. Remember that guy that just, happened to be fucking government affiliated? But right away, as soon as Charlie was killed, they say, the narrative that's out there is that he was killed for his free speech. He was killed because of his Christian values and his free speech. Where did they even get that narrative from? Oh yeah, by the way, the guy that was caught, the kid that was caught, since he's been caught, even though he confessed to everything to his boyfriend and his dad and everybody else, since he's been caught, he's been uncooperative. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that just interesting? What about the Candace Owens? Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk. That's the one thing that doesn't populate. Charlie Kirk shooter. It looks like the requests below are changing quickly. If this topic is new, it can sometimes take time for reliable sources to publish information. I've literally never seen that before when I've looked something up. Charlie Kirk's death has revealed simmering divisions in the MAGA world. So crazy. Candace Owens, Israel allegations derail MAGA unity over Charlie Kirk. What's behind Candace Owens' strong reaction to Charlie Kirk verdict? Charlie Kirk shooting suspect Candace Kirk. What about that picture she released? George, and then there's George Zinn, the Jewish guy that happened to also be associated with 9/11, walking around claiming that he had something to do with the shooting. I shot him. Why would that guy be doing that? Where is his narrative? Let's hear from that guy. What was your reason for pretending to be the shooter? He was just depressed. There are all these companies tied together, and it all got dodgy people involved in it. Of course, Kirk has very questionable ties to companies. It's like people are just ignoring all this shit. And you know what's crazy too is there's this other narrative that Charlie had turned on Israel. And it's such a strange thing. It's like they don't even care about being exposed because the consistency is just ridiculous, right? This notion that Charlie turned on Israel and it wasn't a part of the plan. Right? Suddenly he's asking the same questions that other people are asking. Talking about, well, actually I can't necessarily pin down the times that Charlie questioned Israel, but the narrative is that he was questioning Israel. And what 100% of the history shows you is that as soon as somebody says anything that goes even slightly against the Israeli narrative, like even a little bit, Israel pounces on them, right? They pounce on them and talk about what an anti-Semite they are and just all kinds of horrible shit. And yet, Charlie was supposedly turning on Israel, and one of the first people to tweet about it was Netanyahu, and how sad he was, and then you have this, I don't know if you've seen the Israeli video that was put out with the Charlie Kirk angel talking about how America and Israel are stronger than they've ever been, and we need to reinforce those bonds and all. Have you seen that shit? It is so distasteful and just, like, it's just so gross and weird. And you think, like, who in their right mind would think, hey, a couple of days after this, let's make a fake Charlie Kirk angel video and make it all about how he's all about Israel. So I've been censored down to 3 viewers with 7 likes. There are clearly more than 3 people commenting on here. And yet there's no censorship. Now it's down to 2. Because that makes sense, right? So I'm going to reset and we'll try again. Now it's 2 views and 8 likes. Because that makes sense, right? So I'm going to reset. Hopefully you join me, and more than anything, hopefully you pedophiles kill yourself.